Hello everybody. Welcome to my channel, Venus and Aries. I'm here with another pre-upload. This is going to be very deep today, okay? I'm going to do a reading on the story roots, okay? I'm going to do a reading on the African from the Kambi-Galambo River in West Africa. Around hold on, let me read it right. Jaffe Jufur. I'm going to do a reading on basically Kunta Kinte and his generation descended from him all the way to Alex Haley. I'm praying that this reading is an hour long. It may be an hour and a half long. That's how long I'm going to make it in general, okay? I got my notes, y'all. I'm going to just show y'all. This camera is not letting y'all see, but this says notepad and it's bright, but look, all this is notes. These are all my questions, okay? I actually read and did a couple of prayers and did a Bible verse before I got started on this reading. Let me turn on my other phone. Hold on, you guys. Bear with me. I mean, look, there is no editing with Venus and Aries. Besides, I don't know how to do none of that shit anyway. So there's no editing here. You get all of Venus and Aries, okay? Everything. When I forget something, when I need to grab something, you get it all, okay? It's like that saying when, have you ever been with a guy and they say you get all the DICKs? It's like this, you get all that info women. You get we just natural here. No editing, okay? And so let me grab my other phone. Because I want to get the city right. I know it's in West Africa along the Kambi-Galambo River around, I think the city was Jeffrey. Out of all the questions, right, I forgot to write that part down. Okay, so basically I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to get the energy from Kunta Kinte parents, which I wrote it down, Ormoro&binta. Then I'm going to get each person. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Please forgive my allergies. This is how I in tune with my messages, okay? I sat down for a week and watched the original Roots. And it wasn't my first time watching the original Roots. It's just that I haven't watched it since I was a kid, okay? So of course I didn't remember a goddamn thing. So I sat down and watched all of it. You know, I don't have cable, but I do got that Tubi channel. And Black History Month was in February. Black History Month to me is March 2. That's why you notice today is March 1st, 2024. I'm doing all my Black History readings today. It was on Tubi. I seen the first Roots, and then I went. It took me 3 days to watch that, you know, because I work and all that stuff. I watched the first Roots that came out in the 70s with the dude from Reading Rainbow. Okay, because it came out when I was younger. And then, what's his name? John Amos and Fiddler. I watched that, the 70s one, the first original one. It took me 3 days to finish that. Then I watched the one that came out in 2017 on Prime, because I got Prime. That one was brutal. I feel like that's the real, the one that came out in 2017, Roots. I feel like that's the real shit. Not saying the 71 is not real. I believe the 71 is real. I mean, Alex Haley wrote it. It's about his family, his great grandfather, 7 generations above him. And when I wrote down each parent, each generation, and when I got down to Alex Haley, he was the 7th generation. He's not lying. So I'm going to go as far as him. I'm going to try to be quick as possible, but at the same time, I want to leave details, okay? I had to get in my Psalms chapters because I don't know what energies I'm pulling when it comes to Africa and the ancestries, when it comes to Kunta Kinte and the enemies. And so I had to call my protection for that. And let's get into it, you guys. I got to get my allergies together because I don't know if I'm nervous or the energies are strong, but I don't feel blocked. I feel a block in my nose, but I'm getting deep, you guys. I'm even getting into the slave ship. So just, if you don't like me, please don't watch, okay? And if you do, vision me in the light, okay? So let's get started. I watched the 70s one, then I watched the one for 2017, which was brutal as crap. Oh my goodness, right? Let's start. Now that I got my other phone and the power on, let's, because y'all get all of me here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, thank you. I do a lot of good videos here. Historical playlist is what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of days. Okay. The one who played in... They got KUNTA KINTE at Wikipedia. Let me look and see what... Because my teacher was talking about Wikipedia. The one who played KUNTA KINTE in the 2017 film, oh my God, he looks just like my little cousin Kenny. Like, it makes me want to put a picture of my cousin Kenny in the community feed so y'all can know I'm not bullshitting. But my cousin Kenny passed away in 2016, 8 years ago. So he looks just like my cousin Kenny. Okay, so KUNTA KINTE, a fictional character in the novel 1976 Roots. KUNTA KINTE was based on one of Alex Haley's ancestors, a Gambia. So Gambia River, a man who was born around 1750 and enslaved and took it to America and died around 1822. Oh, it got it in Wikipedia. See, they was telling me about Wikipedia, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't look at Wikipedia. The reason why I'm looking right here real quick is because I'm trying to get... Okay, here we go. KUNTA KINTE was born in Syria, 1750, the Mandika village of Jufuri in Gambia, and he was raised in a Muslim family. He was searching in the woods to make a drum for himself. 4 men chased him and took him captive. KUNTA awoke and found himself blindfolded, gagged, and bond prisoner, and he and others were put on a slave ship. The Lord, I'm glad it told me that. The Lord lingered for a 4-month Middle Passage voyage to North America. KINTE survived the trip to Maryland and was sold to John Wheeler in 1741 through 1775. The son of William Whaler and the grandson of John Wheeler Reynolds. I'm not going to get too deep into the plantation owner. But it was a plantation. I will say it was in Virginia, in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. So if you guys ever want to go around there where KUNTA KINTE is buried at, I actually seen Alex Haley in the documentary go there. That's the city where he's at, and it's on the Reynolds Plantation. And I'm not going to really get into that with the plantations. I may do it in another video and how that is, but I'm going to get into the questions that I wrote. So let's start. And I'm going to start off talking about... Let me see. I don't know if I want to talk about KUNTA KINTE parents first or him. I'm going to start off talking about KUNTA KINTE. All right. I don't really have no questions here. I just want to say, give me the energy around KUNTA KINTE real quick, and then I'm going to talk about his parents. Give me the energy around KUNTA KINTE around... Give me the energy of KUNTA KINTE around... He was born in 1750. In 1767, when he was in the woods, searching for wood to make a drum for himself, and 4 men chased him. Give me the energy around 1767, around that time. And KUNTA KINTE before he was... let me start off with before he was making a drum and chase down. Give me that energy, spirit. Please guide me. Or if KUNTA KINTE wants to come around himself, that is completely up to him. Ooh, 8 of Wands came in reverse. King of Cups. Wow. Queen of Swords. Wow, look at that. They did blindfold him. 10 of Swords. Hold on, let me get... All these cards fall out. I don't know why they all fell out. Jeez. All right. Let me just... I'm actually going to put some of these cards back because I didn't mean to pull out all these cards. I'm going to start off here. King of Cups. I feel like before he was taken and kidnapped, I feel like his father had a dream that he would be Kunta Kinte. Maybe I should have started off talking about the father first. I feel like before Kunta Kinte was taken, before he was going into the village, kidnapped by 4 men, taken while he was searching in the woods to make a drum, I feel like his father had a vision or a dream that his son was going to end up being kidnapped. Oh, by the way, do you guys like my nails? Oh my God, this is crazy. Like, so I've been doing I've been trying to do like manifest money lately, and I don't want to talk too much about myself because I'm not really allowed to spiritually. My angels always tell me, and this wasn't even my plan with my nails. This wasn't even a plan. I just wanted to get like a green polish color, and I was expecting this. You see how this money is right here? I was expecting this on all my nails. The girl that did my nails, oh my gosh, she's so creative. Oh my goodness. I'm actually going to put her in the description box and in the community feed if you would like to get your nails done by her. She like literally drew this shit herself. She drew it herself. I don't know, maybe this was her vision. All I know is I text, like when we talked, she's a co-worker of mine, friend. All I know is when I talked, I told her, I just sent her money emojis and said, look, I just want green nails. If you could just put these money emojis around. I thought that she would just have like charm emojis like this, like charm emojis. And I thought that she would just put them around. But she said, all right, I told her just freestyle it, do what you feel. But I just want the money emojis on my nails. So I thought she had money emoji charms. Well, not, girl, I'm not going to lie. She took a long time too. I ain't going to front though. Like it took her like 5 hours. I'm not going to lie. But it's worth it to me. It's really worth it. Like she drew this with a pencil herself, and then I seen her take the gel polish and trace over it. It's so amazing. She came up with this DuckTales. I don't know if you guys remember Donald Duck and DuckTales, and remember the old mean man in the 90s. If you're my generation, they used to be sitting around a bunch of money. And so I just been trying to manifest money. But this is what I like that she did the most. You guys see this? This is real money. She cut out the real dollar bill. I didn't even tell her to do this. Like, I don't know if the camera show it clear, but can you see like that evil eye right there on that money? I didn't even tell her that. She did that on her own. She cut the money up, put it in the nail. She's so creative. I'm going to post her information in my community feed. I just have to say that real quick. But back to Kunta Kinte. By the way, I feel a common energy around Kunta Kinte father. He came up first, even though I was going to bring up Kunta Kinte. I feel like Kunta Kinte father was having dreams and visions that something like this was going to happen before he had Kunta Kinte, and I also feel like he had a dream afterwards that this would happen to, like his son would get kidnapped. This came out earlier, it came out again. See? I feel like this was the father. I feel like the father knew. I feel like the father knew. He seen it, and I feel like he kind of accepted it. See? Before he was kidnapped, though, I feel like they were a happy family, prospering, financially good, taking care of a happy family at that too. Remember in my previous readings, I was saying how Africa was, especially around that time. Now, of course, this is 80% of Africa, and then there's another 20% where there is men who are doing the right things by their families, loving their wives, being financially resourceful for their kids. But I energetically feel like the father knew this tragedy would happen in order for a happy ending. Okay, let me get into more around Kunta Kinte around the time he was walking in 1767, and he was because 1750 1760 you 10 67, so he was 17 years old. So give me the energy around Kunta Kinte when he was making a drum that day and around the time he was kidnapped. So it brought the father up first, but I'm going to go back to the parents still. Message from the water. I literally energetically kept feeling like they knew. I feel like they knew this was going to happen. I feel like they knew this was going to happen, and it was just going to be a matter of time. Now, even though this is a goon, of course, I feel like this is Kunta Kinte. This is, oh, okay, Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte. So you was a fine ass man. Fine, buff, looking good. He was creative. Kunta Kinte had a goon type of energy, creative, quiet, watery energy. So he could have been a water sign. If he was not a water sign, you guys, he was an earth sign. He was very like he created things. So Kunta Kinte kind of gives me the energy of blacksmith. He kind of gives me an energy of creating things. So maybe he created not just drums for him to make when he was trying to, find a drum to make for his brother. That was the story. He was making a drum for his brother as a gift. But made drums for a lot of people. Not just drums, but like other things. Swords, knives, other things. That's what I'm getting out of this energy. But I feel like around that time he was doing that, he was crushed. I also feel like Kunta Kinte didn't listen to somebody. He didn't listen to a parent. He didn't listen to... Yeah, I feel like energetically, look, I see cars beyond, so we're not really on the Orishas. Even though I feel like the energies of the Orishas around at the time, I do feel like energetically Kunta Kinte was getting warned spiritually. Whether it was from Shango, whether it was from his spirit guide, whether it was from Kunta Kinte's ancestors, I feel like he was getting warned spiritually. I feel like he was it. I'm gonna see if he was listening in a second. I'm gonna see, but I feel like the father tried to warn him too, and he wasn't listening. I feel like the father tried to warn him too. He wasn't listening, and so I feel like him being pulled back, not being able to go forward. Was Kunta Kinte not listening when he went off and got kidnapped? Was it something that his father told him to do that he didn't do? I feel like energetically Kunta Kinte could have been a little rebellious towards the father. Yeah. I felt like Kunta Kinte Kunta Kinte energy was always kind of closed in. He was always kind of to himself. He was always kind of spiritual. He was kind of like not of the crowd. He was kind of like emotional. He was kind of like educated too. I actually see Kunta Kinte in the energy of, hiding himself somewhere, maybe in the mountains, in the cave, in his hunt, meditating and educating himself and trying to grow spiritually and getting spiritual downloads. Okay. Wow, Kunta Kinte energy is really... I also feel like... I also feel like Kunta Kinte, when it came to relationships and dating and crushes, he was kind of shy. Even though 17, I don't really see him in the energy of like, I got a crush on a woman or I'm into women at the moment. The energy is more like... shy, reserved, a charming, sweet person, affectionate, loyal, have your back, spiritual, a builder, to itself. So I'm not going to say exactly that Kunta Kinte wasn't listening to the dad. I'm not going to say that exactly. What I will say is that he was always off one. He was a loner. He was kind of like, his Kunta Kinte energy kind of gives me Ogun personality wise, if you guys know about the Orishas, but also kind of like shy and reserved and quiet and not really sociable with the rest of the village like that. So I don't know how the movie portrayed, not really sociable like that. Always out. Kunta Kinte was kind of like always out in the fields and a loner anyway. Sort of like Ogun was. Always out in the fields, a loner, and doing his own thing. Never listened to his parents by staying close. Always off by himself. The Page of Cups come in reverse when it comes to Kunta Kinte. He was no doubt 17. I feel like he was a wanderer. He was always trying to listen to the ocean, stay to himself. He was in nature. He liked to be in nature. I also feel like he wasn't just out trying to get a drum. I also feel like he was catching fish and getting food and all that. And then here comes the people taking him, putting him in chains, overwhelming him, taking away his opportunities and his options. So yeah, he was taken, he was kidnapped, he was making a drum. Also feel like he was getting water, taking him to this new start and not being able to move forward with his journey. Taking him away from the waters. I feel like before Kunta Kinte was kidnapped, he always liked to be by the water. So energetically with this card, I just seen it all. Not all, but I just got a big vision with this card. I feel like he always got a warning from his dad not to before this situation happened, before he was kidnapped and all this jazz. Kunta Kinte was always by the water. He was always listening to the water, like to be by the water. He would be away from home for days sometimes, out by himself, naturing in the water. So I feel like when all this was going down, he was warned by the father to stay away from the water. Like, I know you like the water, you be by the water for days, yada, 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 but you have to stay away from the water. It was hard for Kunta Kinte to do because he really likes being by the water. That is what messed him up. See? Then that's them selling him. See? That's him hiding out to himself by the water, listening to the water, and then that's him being captured and sold. That was his energy. So it does look like he was kept making a drum. It also looks like he was catching fish to eat. It also looks like he just liked to be by the water in general all the time. Kunta Kinte gives me Ogun energy, where he liked to be to himself, build things. He didn't just build a drum for his brother, but he built drums and musicians and instruments and things of metal or things that was needed in that village for everybody. He was a loner off to himself. Even though he was 17, he was a builder. That's literally what I get. Now, maybe that's something that Alex Haley, but Alex Haley wasn't living, so I'm not going to say he got every detail, but good enough for me, Alex Haley, like literally. All right. Give me the energy around Kunta Kinte parents. His parents. Give me the energy around Ormoro&binta. Give me the energy around Ormoro&binta. What was the energy around them around the time they had Kunta Kinte when he was a baby? What was going on around that around the Gambia Jufe River, Mandika River, around that time, 1750, between 1750 and 1767. Sorry if I'm hitting stuff, you guys. Ooh. Okay. The thing is, what I'm seeing with this is, I feel like these slave traders and the people who were coming to kidnap slaves was around even when Kunta Kinte was born. I think it showed that in the movie, right? These people came and started taking resources. I felt like as long as the Africans stayed further back, away from the rivers and the oceans and stuff, they didn't risk getting kidnapped, because I feel like the slave traders was afraid to go out deeper into deep into the woods, because it wasn't their territory and they couldn't, there was no lights, it wasn't electricity, And so I feel like, that's what they did for a while, even around the time Kunta Kinte was born. I feel like water is what got them kidnapped mostly, trying to get water and food and fish, okay? I feel like, yes, they stayed back behind the rivers and the woods and stuff for a while, but then when they needed water and food, they had to form up armies and stuff and sneak. So it seemed like every time somebody needed some water or some food and they ran out, somebody risked getting sold into slavery, whether they all decided. And this, for example, say like 1,000 of them from that tribe wanted to go and get water and fish to bring back for the tribe. They took a risk. All right, 1,000 of us, let's go fight. Maybe 200 of us will get kidnapped and took into slavery, but at least 800 of us will be able to go get enough water and fish and food and stuff to bring back to the village to last us for a while. And hopefully these these slave traders leave or go to another country or go away, or we figure out something. So that's the first thing I'm seeing around that time Kunta Kinte was born. The next thing I'm seeing is that Kunta Kinte was made out of love. His dad came off really romantic. I also see a lot of white men and soldiers coming through, like I just said earlier, coming through, taking over the lands, coming through in horses, taking their water, taking their resources and stuff like that. So this was going on around the time. This is what his parents was talking about around the time he was born. I actually see the slave traders coming through and taking every bit of resources coming out again. Now this resources, this is like the water, their water. That's pretty much what it's saying. Coming through, taking their good, clean water. He's coming through angry, taking it. Even the horses coming through angry, taking it. This is the white man coming through, taking all their resources, everything that they have grown and built, palm oil, honey, metals, everything. They're taking it, and they're taking it all. That's the energy that I'm getting. See how I'm not bullshitting? See how I'm not bullshitting? And so what Kunta Kinte father Ormoro is saying is this was a very, like, it felt like being in hell around this time, you know, it could have been before, but I just asked around 1750 to 1767. It felt like hell. It felt like hell to them. Like, every bit of resources, he is saying, Ormoro, Kunta Kinte, that every bit of resources that we grew, and we worked hard. We worked hard to grow these resources over the course of years, 7 years, growing, putting that hard work together, and we're being robbed. Our hearts are being broken. They're taking it. They're taking it. They're not only taking it, but they're killing us. They're taking our blood. They're leaving with our blood on their swords. We're not protected. They're coming through, slashing, taking our homes, taking us out of our homes, taking our coins. So it was kind of devastating, breaking up families and connections. And he, like, what Kunta Kinte father is saying is like, damn, it felt like we was already in hell. He was saying that we was already in hell, and it just seemed like the white man never had enough. It just seemed like they wanted more and more. Kunta Kinte father is even saying there was a point where, like, here, can you take some of these like, let's give you something, go away, or let's trade or something. And it was like, no, it's like they could never have enough. We have to come through like the Grim Reaper and take every little coin that you have. We want it all. Stressing out the kings out, and queens, if there was queens in Africa. I want to know, Kunta Kinte, where you at, Binta? I don't see Binta stepping up. Kunta Kinte father is telling it all. And to be honest, this is Kunta Kinte father energy. He was younger. You know, he was younger back then. You see, when I brought up Kunta Kinte, he came out King of Cups. So Kunta Kinte father is definitely giving me water sign energy too. Kunta Kinte could be Earth. Actually, to be perfectly Pacific, he could be around Virgo or Capricorn, Kunta Kinte. But his father is definitely giving me water. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Kunta Kinte father. Give me the energy around his parents, Binte and Kunta Kinte. Ormoro. I like saying his name. I just like saying his. Ormoro and Binte Kinte. Ormoro. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you to one of my clients who sent me a nice tip. Ooh, thank you. All right, I see it in my phone. Ormoro. I like saying his name. Ormoro Binte Kinte. I'm sorry. Ormoro and Binte. Let me get a message from Binte. Dark time. Okay. You know, the message is the same. Being robbed of all kind of resources. I do feel like now, and I want to ask, but the energy is kind of telling me they, like, even after Kunta Kinte was taken, resources was always hard for them for the rest of their life. After they were robbed and plundered, it was really hard to get back. I energetically don't feel like Kunta Kinte's parents was ever taken or kidnapped either. Was Kunta Kinte's parents ever taken or kidnapped as well after Kunta Kinte? No. No. Okay, let me see. I feel like Kunta Kinte parents were taken. Oh, no. They actually weren't kidnapped. I feel like I just said earlier, I feel like Kunta Kinte's father knew that Kunta would get kidnapped before he did. And I feel like energetically it has a lot to do with Kunta never being at home, always being a hermit, always being separate, always feeling like an outsider, always. Kunta Kinte he gives me Ogun energy. Ogun was the only Orisha that sat outside the village. When everybody else had parties and had fun and stuff, he was in his cave, either getting spiritual knowledge or educational knowledge. He was shy. He was reserved. He just stayed building things. It was like that kind of saying, like, I don't do people. That's Kunta Kinte energy. And the father was saying that when you're in that type of... Because Kunta Kinte was always by the river hiding out when nobody went by the river because they were getting kidnapped if you did. Kunta Kinte was the only one that was, like, going by the river because he was addicted to... Like, he loved the water and it was hard. And so... I feel like the father had dreams that he was going to end up getting kidnapped anyway. And tried to avoid it, but figured I can't do nothing about it. Because this is what I'm seeing. So I don't feel like the father or the mother was kidnapped. Oh, they ended up being in Africa. They ended up moving further west. Further, I would say east, you could say, into Africa. They ended up leaving that village, Juffer. Am I saying it right? The village, Mendika village of Joffrey in Gambia. I feel like they ended up moving further east to avoid that further situation. So, and I feel like the parents, the mother did suffer at first. His mother, Binta, this is her energy. I suffered nights and nights. I didn't sleep. I cried. It was a lot of darkness around me. I was tortured. But then after 9 years, months, weeks, just after a while, I see this dove of light coming through, giving the mother healing and overshadowing all these dark energies around her. The mother had a hard time at first. She was having nightmares. She was even having dreams. That the son would come back. And then I feel like she finally accepted it. And she stopped having nightmares. But Binta Kinte, to be honest, she died in sorrow over her son. Now, I will say she stopped having nightmares. She got clarity. But the Nine of Swords in reverse is kind of saying... you're never getting over the heartbreak of the kidnap. And that's expected for a mother. See, this bothered her until she died, the mother. This bothered her, especially on the fact that the husband, Ormoro, and their other children went off further in Africa and lived the rest of their lives better. I'm not going to say happy, but not in worry of kidnapping and slavery. They wasn't enslaved. But the mother did go through the energy of stress, kind of mental illness, kind of losing her mind, kind of depression, kind of dark thoughts and nightmares. Probably like keeping the father up. Until she died. All right. Is there anything else I need to know when it comes to Ormoro&binta? Kinte? Ormoro. I like that name. Ormoro. Let me see. I'm already in 30 minutes. I already know it's going to be an hour and a half. All right. Might do a part 2, y'all, to be honest. Might do a part 2. I'm probably going to end up doing a part 2. All right. I just want to know one quick question. Is there a curse in or on the Kinte family generation? I just need to know that real quick. And then we'll get further into Kunta Kinte. I don't feel like there's a curse. I don't feel like there's a curse. There is a energy around the Kinte family of a lot of water sign men. So a lot of men that is born in his family, in like Kunta Kinte family, even till this day, there are a lot of water sign men. So they're all Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I don't feel like it was. I just feel like Kunta Kinte, the generation feels like they didn't get enough recognition. They feel like they should have been more talked about and put out there. And I do feel like they didn't get a lot of definitely don't feel like it's a curse. But I just get the energy of them wanting to put the story out there a little bit more. Wanting to put more of... It's more to it than what we don't know. Also feel the energy of Kunta Kinte like, okay, he's glad that his generation has got the story out, but this is still something that he would not have preferred. He still would have preferred to be in Africa and live his life, not be kidnapped, taken here and there, not having choices, not being able to use his imagination and have choices, and not being able to have a new start. He still like would have wished to not never been kidnapped, but he appreciates the meaning of, I guess, his life path being born. But no, I don't feel like it's a curse. There is a situation on the women where a lot of them operate in single rich girl energy. So the women in the Kinte family, generations down, they're kind of single, not married, and they're financially stable. And I feel like this is energetically has to do with Kizzy. And I'm bringing her up because this Queen of Cups, no. Okay, thank you, Spirit. It could be Kizzy, but I feel like, I don't know if it's Kizzy. It is Kizzy. I feel like Kizzy did something energetically. She probably didn't realize it, or she did, but I feel like she energetically blocked, like, it's kind of giving me that, not hocus pocus, practical magic. I feel like Kizzy did something energetically to where she made all the women in her future generations be independent and single and rich. Independent, single, rich, and loving theyself. And being tempered. Like, Kizzy had a temper. I'm bringing her up real quick because I feel like this is something that she put in the women generation. Having a temper, being independent. So a lot of women generations that's living today, that's from the Kunta Kinte tribe, they kind of like, I'm about my money, F a nigga, fuck that emotional shit, I get my money, I don't care about being single, I don't care about dying single, I don't give a fuck. Like, okay, if you guys ever watch, I'm not saying Cynthia G, but Cynthia G is an example of, like, women that come from Kunta Kinte, like, family line, they have that energy of Cynthia G, if you ever watched her channel like that. And I feel like it's something that Kizzy did, and I don't think she really, like, did it on purpose. I think whatever she went through, she put that strong, independent woman energy out there. So I do feel like that. I had to ask that real quick. So let's talk about the energy around Kunta Kinte being kidnapped on the boat and all that. And then we're going to talk about Kunta Kinte and Belle. And then I'm probably going to end up doing a part 2 and talking about the rest. Okay, you guys? All right, let's talk about the night that Kunta Kinte was kidnapped in 1767 while searching in the woods for a drum. I already put out there a moment ago that he just wasn't searching for a drum. He was also meditating and hunting, getting fish and water. Give me the energy around that night. Kunta Kinte was kidnapped in the Jufri village in Gambia. And let me say this. I got to say this real quick. If I catch anybody, I'm going to say this in a couple of videos. If I catch you in my comments and if I say anybody's name, because I talk a lot, I may not say people's name right. And sometimes I just don't pronounce their fucking name right, especially if they are not in another country, okay? If I see you under my comments trying to correct how I pronounce somebody's name in a spelling, and then you're putting it in parentheses. So first, now you're saying I can't spell. Then you're putting it in parentheses like I'm fucking slow, okay? Because that's a key point. I'm a college student. When you put something in parentheses, that's a fucking key point. So your key point in your paragraph, you're saying that I can't talk right or I'm slow, which I don't understand why you're watching me if that's the case. I'm just going to remove you. I'm not going to block people until my moderator purple. If you're watching, I'm going to let you know later if you're not watching. To my moderator and to my other moderator, you know, you too. If you guys see that in my comments, please hide them. I'm not going to, don't block people, hide them. Because of course I want your view because I want to get paid, okay? So you're going to be able to watch, but you're not going to be able to say shit because it's disrespectful, okay? You guys have to learn how to let people talk how they talk. Okay, especially when the thumbnail is in the fucking picture, okay? You could clearly see who the fuck I'm talking about, okay? So don't do that, okay? Or you will get removed. I don't have time for that shit. I'm trying not to be mean, okay? Because I can be mean. And then y'all the same ones that be in the comments like, why you so rude? And why you so rude? Why you so disrespectful? Okay, let me keep going. KUNTA KINTE, what was the energy? What was the energy around that night he got tuckered? What was the energy around the stars and the moon and shit? Ooh. It was Gemini season. That's the only energy I get out of this. It was Gemini season. It was Gemini season. So that is from May 22nd to June 21st. So it was around that time. It was Gemini season. Give me the energy around KUNTA KINTE when he was kidnapped in 1767 while searching in the woods to make a drum. It was Gemini season. That's the best thing I could say. It was Gemini season. That's the only thing I could see in this card, to be honest. I'm not really seeing much else. This card keep coming out. The worst mistake he felt like he could have made. I felt like he was out doing things. Collecting things. Not just making a drum, but collecting things. Grabbing things. Just out. I feel like KUNTA KINTE had a big imagination and he was out trying to make something creative. So one thing I would say for sure is that he had a big imagination. He had a lot of ideas. He had a lot of emotional downloads. So he was very spiritual. KUNTA KINTE is giving me water sign energy too. I feel like he's a water sign too. And look at all this. This is something he was created. So yes, he was making a drum. He didn't see them coming. He didn't hear them coming either. But they got him. Biggest mistake. Biggest mistake. Biggest mistake. Yeah, not only was he out gathering and stuff to make a drum, but he was gathering food. He was gathering fruits, food, and he was taking something home for a family celebration or to make something, not just for the brother, but something for the mom. Something like, yeah, he had a gift for the brother he didn't get to give to him. This is the mother, never like being distressed and depressed. I also feel like the mother was pregnant with another child too around the time he got kidnapped. This is him never being able to come home and give his parents the food. I feel like he was making a lot of food and gathering a lot of gifts to bring home for a family celebration. This is the mother again, not sleeping and losing herself. I do feel like the angels were standing by the mother trying to give her patience. Alrighty, what other energies can I pull around that? And I'm going to pull 3 more cards. Biggest mistake that he made in his life, biggest food choice, because I feel like the father told him, no, stay close in the woods. Don't go near the river. He didn't listen because he was grabbing food and he thought he could like beat it. And so there goes the fulfillment. There goes the celebration canceled. I just said it. Then I just say Gemini season. So it was definitely the summer. It was definitely the summer when he was kidnapped. It was in the summer. I feel like it was kind of... It was in the skies, in the seas. I'm like, I could... Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. It was meant to happen. Look at that. That's very deep. I feel like as soon as it happened, the dad found out right away. I feel like the dad knew it was going to happen. The dad knew it was going to happen. And I feel like the dad was notified right away. I feel like the dad was very spiritual. I don't feel like he had a connection. He could have had a connection with God. I could be wrong. But he was, and Kunta Kinte was getting ready for a big celebration. This was actually a celebration that he was going to go to, because Kunta Kinte really didn't go to celebration. So when he got ready to go to a celebration, he gets kidnapped. I feel like as soon as he gets kidnapped, the dad is told right away, whether it's an ancestor spirit or God or the angels. I feel like the dad gets told right away. Spiritually too, like through the winds. I feel like the thing about back then, no TVs, no internet, none of that. A lot of people listen to the winds. I feel like the dad was so spiritual, which is Ormoro. I feel like he was so spiritual that the winds told him his son was kidnapped, and he listened. Wind spirit or ancestor, whatever spiritual practices he was connected to, they told him, they warned him, they let him know. They prepared him to be strong for this. I just feel like he maybe didn't tell the mom, the wife, Binta. All right, 3 more cards around the time when Kunta Kinte was kidnapped in 1767. Yep, definitely out trying to make a drum. These cards don't lie. He was going to make a drum, collect food and stuff for a family celebration. Too bad you didn't have a horse, Kunta Kinte. It looks like you didn't have a horse. Collecting waters and riches and water, food, fish. And then look, he's kidnapped. 5 of Swords. Kidnapped. Taken into the water. Look. Oh, my cards don't fucking lie. Here comes the people deceiving him, stealing from him. I feel like these were the other black people who tricked him. So I feel like black men walked around him and then they kidnapped him. Oh, poor Kunta. Poor Kunta. Whew, poor Kunta. Is there any more cards I want to pull on this? I like doing that, y'all. Let's get one more message from the mom, and then we're going to talk about, because I'm gonna do this video for like maybe an hour and a half. Let's talk about the mom, and then let's talk about, let's talk about how the mom energy was around the time. Then we're going to talk about the boat a little bit. I want to get the boat out the way so I can get over that energy. Ooh. Look, I said let's talk about the mom. Look what came out. Rage. His mom was mad. Oh, this looked like Kunta Kinte mom. This how his mom looked. Dark, beautiful, angry, pissed. Ooh, Binta. She feels like Kunta self-sabotaged himself. To be honest, she was mad. She was upset. This looked like the same woman. This looked like Kunta Kinte mom. I bet you if I pull out another picture of her face, it'll look the same. Look at this. I feel like she had, because she had Kunta Kinte. The brother was already here. I feel like she was pregnant around the time he got kidnapped, and then she had another son. So she ended up having 2 more sons after Kunta was kidnapped. She had 2 more. She had to really work on self-forgiveness because this took a lot for her. And her having her other babies is what helped her get through Kunta being kidnapped. It comes out again that the mom and the dad got to live the rest of their lives out in Africa and not being enslaved. Kunta was the only one from their family who was kidnapped. But there's an energy feeling like, let me pull one more card with this, Binta. And Do you feel like it was you who may have let something happen to self? Do you feel like it was your fault that something, like you self-sabotaged something to where he got kidnapped, or you feel like he self-sabotaged? Because I feel the energy of both. But the energy feels like she feels like he self-sabotaged because he always liked to be out in the waters and in the swamps, and in like when they told him it's not a good time to be around the waters right now. Yeah, she was angry and pissed. Yeah, it's more like an energy like where she feels like he self-sabotaged. He didn't listen, and now he wasn't able to go forward. It kind of blocked her from going forward. It kind of put the family on a block for a while. She does have that feeling of him being kidnapped, and then him having a family and wondering about his children and his family, and him not protecting himself. There is an energy like, well, I should have been more protective or more hard on him. But Binta, you know how it was in those times. She said she feels like, okay, yes, she does feel like he self-sabotaged, but then she feels like maybe a little guilt for her not being more strict or protective, or not making him more aware of the block. It's more like an energy of him not wanting to protect and keep himself guarded. And an energy of him of always wanting to get out and be free. He was 17, Binta. And that's no excuse, but it just shows the energy of him being 17 and being free and not listening. Even though she kind of warned him, and he had that energy like, okay, Mom, I hear you, but, you know, I just need to go learn some stuff, educate myself. And then this is her. So, okay, I'm going to get off of that around the time Kunta was kidnapped in 1677 while he was looking for a drum. More than that from what I'm seeing in the cards. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's talk about the boat. When Kunta Kinte was on the boat. And then we'll talk about him in the America a little bit, and then I'm gonna go on part 2 and talk about him and Belle and the generations and stuff. I hope this reading gives enough details. I watched this movie so I could try to understand it as much as I could. It was very sad. It had a bitch crying in tears, especially with like Kizzy and it was a couple of things that had me crying in tears, like, because I sat down and watched both of them. All right. Sorry, y'all. I gotta put cards back, and then I got these nails, so it's crazy. By the way, I have some more ideas I want her to do for me too. Oof. But like, these are like, I can't get over this shit. It's like off the hook. I really didn't want the ducks though. I kind of would have wanted somebody else. But I still like it. And this is a cartoon that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. I really used to watch it. But overall, I like the money. Like, yo. Alright. Let's talk about Kunta Kinte energy when he was on the boat. Let's get his energy around when he was on the boat. And then I cried at the end when they showed like all the generations and Alice Haley talked about it. I cried at that, especially that second one. Oh my God, that second one made me cry. Especially when they took Chicken George off like that in the car, to England, and the way he tried to break. Like, I couldn't stand Tom Moore, like Tom Lee. I couldn't, like, oh my God. Let's talk about it. Ugh, look at this. Look at that. Page of Pentacles. This is a young 17-year-old boy who is sad. Like, if you look at this, it's in reverse. But maybe I see beyond the cards. But as I was looking at this, I see tears going down his eyes. Tears, tears. This is a young boy who's crushed, who feels like I have no opportunity to explore myself, to make money, to take care of myself, to take care of my family. This is him being trapped on the boat. They did blindfold him. They did stop him from seeing. They did make him unbalanced. This is mental breakdown. I feel like they mentally broke him. They mentally killed his ambition. They mentally killed his spirit. They mentally killed his ambitions, his goals, his dreams. They mentally broke him. And I think we know this, but the cards is putting it deep out there. I feel like they really mentally like tried to destroy him. This is him on the boat. I feel like the whole time that he was on the boat, he was laying there. He was uncomfortable. He was unhappy. You see this girl is dirty, scruffled, hid up in the bushes in the boat. I feel like most of the time he just meditated, slept, was quiet, didn't talk, didn't say much. I feel like at the same time, all he kept thinking about the whole time he was on the boat was escaping. At first, I feel the energy of him thinking like, I'm going to be able to escape this. At first. I say that because we all know that didn't happen. This is him trying. Okay, so energetically, Kunta Kinte was strong. Okay, so even though they tied him down and hogged him up mentally and physically, I feel like it took a lot of people to break him down. He was very fiery. He knocked people down. People had to climb on stuff, climb up stuff. They couldn't catch him. It took a lot for them to get him down. Unfairness on the boat. Unfairness. Unbalanced. It was Gemini season. It just keeps coming out that it was Gemini season when this went down. It was Gemini season when this went down. This also shows the ancestors, their ancestors, because Kunta Kinte and them is our ancestors. So their ancestors, Kunta Kinte and them ancestors, watching but not being able to do anything about it. This also shows the energy of the judgment. Like judgment is here. Like it goes back to what I was saying in my Black African American stories. This is judgment from all the slaves. Judgment. Also feel like Kunta Kinte took himself in a place where he took his spirit out his body. He took himself out his body and connected spiritually. And energetically, Kunta Kinte was already doing that. He was hermit. He could have been a Virgo. He gives me water sign energy, or he just has a lot of water sign placements, or he just loved the water so much it's just around him. Either one. He's definitely Earth or fire sign. The daddy, no doubt, is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. No doubt. The mom is fire sign. She's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. She's fiery. Kunta Kinte gives me Earth. Solid, quiet, traditional, to himself. Like I was just saying earlier, it's that energy. Kunta Kinte always took his soul out his body in general. So I feel like the boat ride was harsh, but at the same time, it could have been like I was just gonna say smooth. It was smooth for Kunta because he first off, he always fast. First off, he always was in hermit mode. So he was always the type that was distant and in solitude away from the family for months at a time anyway. And this boat ride was for 4 months. I really felt like he took himself out his body and disconnected physically. And it was a smooth ride for him because he had a lot of spiritual strength. Couldn't be in hermit mode though. Like the energy is showing that as much as he wanted to take himself, this keep coming up when I bring Kunta Kinte up. He was definitely a Virgo. I'm definitely getting Virgo energy, but this is a person that takes their self out. This is a person who takes their self out their body. And they're just in spirit. And then his spirit lives. Like, so he took himself out his body. He probably died for a second, but now I'm getting more like he spiritually meditated himself. Sort of like Aang. He took himself out his body and he tried to roam around in spirit so he could feel free. They made it hard. See, Kunta Kinte always did this before he was kidnapped. But when he got kidnapped, they made it even harder for him to do it. So it was really hard for him to meditate and take himself out his body. But he ended up doing it. I would say he more so closed his energy off than being able to take himself out his body spiritually and live free in spirit. That was his energy around that time. Look, I just felt, I was going to put this back, but I just felt the energy of all this is because I wanted to make a drum and get some fish and go by the river. Like, what? That's what he was thinking. And now my world is upside down. My mom is stressed out. Everything is just different for me. This is a whole nother world that I could never get used to. This is upside down for me. This is not comfort. Ooh, Kunta. All right. We all know it was Gemini season. Let's pull a message. Let's pull a spiritual, and then we'll talk about him when he gets to the Americas a little bit. And then we will stop and do part 2 on him and his relationship with Bill and the rest of the family. All right, Kunta Kinte, can I get some spiritual messages from you? If that's okay. You have every right. You can also say, look, I don't want to talk. All right, Kunta Kinte. Happiness is not a betrayal of me. I'm not gonna lie. To be honest, Kunta Kinte was saying the whole time he was living mostly in America, he was never happy. To be happy was a lie. To force yourself to be happy would be like betraying yourself. He really wasn't happy all the time. He really was never happy. That's like the most he was saying. He really wasn't happy. He there's an energy apologizing to his parents for not listening and for feeling like he was right all the time, and he's sorry he didn't believe it. You didn't believe your parents when they said it about the kidnapping and all that stuff, Kunta? Are you serious? He said he's still in the spiritual world going through this life review, this energy. I'm not going to lie. Kunta Kinte is saying that he still doesn't understand why he was even kidnapped, why he was a slave. He didn't do anything. He didn't deserve it. It wasn't fair. It was cruel. He was unhappy. He said he's still trying to heal, even in the spirit right now, from this. He owes an apology to his parents because he didn't believe them. He said he's still going through the life review and trying to understand what the fuck was the reason for me going through this. But I feel like eventually, or at least before Judgment Day, Kunta, he will see and understand why. He's going through that energy like he don't understand why this was his life path. Even in the afterlife, he's like going through the review. Like, why did I even go through this? What was the point of this? Well, okay, was this for Alex Haley, my future great 7th generation grandchild, to write a story? And a story that wasn't even getting out to the people? This is what Kunta Kinte is saying. A story that wasn't even getting out like that? Because let's face it, like, okay, I'm an 80s child, but let's talk about before that. Roots came out in the 70s. Before the 70s, I've watched interviews with the families from the Oklahoma situation and all the riots and stuff from the early 1900s. I've watched interviews with these families. And they asked them in the interview, how did y'all feel when Roots came out in the 70s? And a lot of these black people, and they were older, so they were born in the 50s and the 60s, and their parents, they were saying that their parents never talked about it. And I feel like that's where black people fucked up right there. Y'all didn't talk about it after slavery was over. And I'm talking about the generations from 1865 all the way down to 1900. I would say 1865 and down. Y'all didn't talk to y'all kids about it. And so any kids that was born any kids who were born in 1870 and 1880 and 90, they wasn't taught because their parents who were slaves didn't tell them. It's just that when slavery was over, it was just over. They didn't talk about it. And that's what the older, like when I was watching an interview, that's what the men from Oklahoma, I believe, or I forgot, Arkansas, that he was born in the 50s, but that's what he was saying. He was saying that his parents, they never talked about it. They didn't even know about Roots when it came out. And he was saying when it came out, he was like 19 when Roots came out. I wouldn't even thought about Jesus Christ. He was saying that he was 19. And when it came out, they were shocked because they didn't even know about it. They weren't taught about it. And this is what Kunta Kinte is saying. What was the reason for him going through all this? Just so his great-great-grandchild could write a story that nobody is not even reading? That nobody isn't even knowing about? I mean, he's saying, grateful to me for talking about it on the channel. And then he's even saying, but how far will this get? You know, a lot of people didn't even watch Roots or want to know about it, you know. And then we got people like Snoop Dogg getting mad because slavery movies keep coming out. When, like, what's his name said, they put out a lot of Jewish and Holocaust movies, and they keep the Jewish people understanding what they went through in their history. And so Kunta Kinte is still kind of going through that energy, what was this for? Like, what was this for? Like, what was the point? But I feel like eventually, and not now, that's crazy, even though that was like, you died in 1822, Kunta? 1922, 2022, that was 200 years ago. But in the spirit world, things are different, okay? A year is a day in the spirit world. And so I feel like eventually, before Judgment Day, he will start to understand, okay? And hopefully, to Kunta Kinte, my message gets out and people understand the story, you know? But he does appreciate his, like, Alex Haley. And so, Kunta Kinte, what is your energy towards Alex Haley? Give me your energy towards Alex Haley. And how do you feel about him putting your story out there? Doing the research. Letting it be known what happened to you and what you went through. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's just how he feels in his life review. Because he said he was very, very unhappy. It was a lot of betrayal. You know, you know. Yeah, Kunta Kinte, yeah, I'm not gonna front y'all. Kunta Kinte he's still angry. He's not. I don't feel a negative, fucked up energy. In fact, I feel so calm and so smooth. In fact, I feel gentle, like he's a gentle guy. Would be a nice guy to date. But because Kunta Kinte is giving me Ogun energy, like, damn, I ain't gonna lie. All right. His energy is like, okay, Kunta, come on now. I'm not going to say he's not grateful, but he just feels like this is something that he didn't wish on the worst enemy, even for a story. He wouldn't wish this on his enemy. He said he'd rather have just killed his enemies in prisoner of war, and they would have been more free than being a slave. I talked about this in my Black History slavery video, so please go to my historical playlist. This will be in there as well. He's saying that, nah, I'm going to be honest. It'd be nice, Kunta, if you had a still thank you to Alex Haley. It's like, okay, it's something he will never get. You know, it's Kunta, you know, he has that arrogance energy, he was fine. I'm not going to front y'all. Kunta Kinte is fine. He was fine. Ogun came out looking sexy. Now he this King of Wands looking sexy. You just fine. Like, Kunta Kinte, he like, girl, I'm not here to talk about how I look. He was fine. That's all I can say. Even the energy right now around me feels like, it's calmer. But the energy is like, okay, yes, he has a lot of wisdom. I get it. He doesn't feel like Alex Haley is spiritual and grounded enough and in tuned enough. He feels like Alex Haley didn't really in tune enough spiritually into him to get to know him. He just kind of like did research and did it, which he's saying that it's factual, but it's not the details. And so he feels like first off, he's saying that Alex Haley was always imbalanced and a narcissist type of guy and very different from him, but that's not the case. His energy is like towards his great grandson Alex Haley he will never understand it because it's not a balance to him. So it's an energy of not even, I'm not going to say he's not grateful to Alex Haley, but it's an energy like, this is not really what I wanted. I don't understand my story. I'm still trying to learn it. This is something I wouldn't wish on nobody, even for a novel writing story. So, yes, he appreciates Alex Haley. He's guided him. He's lived his life through him. But, yeah. He just feels like he's grateful to Alex Haley. He's guided him. He's grateful for him breaking generational patterns. He's even apologizing if he didn't sound grateful. He's apologizing to me if he didn't sound grateful, because he can feel that my energy is grateful to Alex Haley, because I like Alex Haley. Like, I even brought him up to one of my coworkers when she put up Black History signs, and she put up the original, which, you know, that's okay. But I told her she needs to work on Alex Haley because he's a really powerful writer. He's saying that he apologized if he didn't mean it. He's grateful. He's lived his life. He just wasn't comfort, and he was really unhappy, and he didn't understand it. But he feels like Alex Haley has broke a lot of generational patterns, so he's grateful. So he didn't mean to sound like that, but he just doesn't get the point. He just doesn't get the point. You know, that's Alex Haley's message. I mean, Kunta Kinte's message. And honestly, I can understand Kunta, to be honest. I do. He's definitely apologizing to his parents. He have already, is what he's saying. Especially his mother for breaking her and stressing her. I don't know. Kunta Kinte, is there anything you would like to say to the people? I mean, I'm going to be talking about the story a little more with you and the family and stuff like that. But is there anything you would like to say to us, the generation today? I'm going to pull out the Rebel deck for that, because Kunta Kinte, I'm not going to lie, his energy is kind of straightforward and to the point. I'm gonna be honest. It's a little bitter. It's not bitter like angry, mad at the world bitter. It's just, what's the point? It's something he wouldn't wish on his enemy. It's not he just feels like it's not even worth a story. So what, like Kunta Kinte. Alright. Kunta Kinte, is there anything you would like to say to the people? I'm pulling up the Rebel deck because your energy is Rebel. Your energy is Rebel. It was Rebel before you was kidnapped. It was Rebel after. It was just Rebel. 2. Shame, regret, and guilt, those are just bullshit. Let that shit go. So Kunta Kinte is being guided to let it go. I feel like somebody's guiding him to let it go, because he still feels shame and guilt and regret, and he feels like this is bullshit. There's also an energy around Kunta Kinte that is saying to himself he needs to forgive and let that shit go himself, because this, like, he still feels the shame, the regret from not listening to his parents, the guilt for his mother's sadness, and Kunta Kinte is in the energy where he's still giving his power away to the life lesson. He doesn't get it. He doesn't acknowledge it. He's mad about it. He feel like it's just a bitterness around him to understanding and why what this happened to him, and it's just, he will never forgive it. But the cards are saying you a badass, act like it. I keep telling you, these cards, the cards then told me, I feel it in his energy when he's talking to me, when I'm channeling him. Kunta Kinte is fine as fuck. He's fine. You need a good fucking cry. Okay, get the ugly crying on. Let that shit go. Your soul will heal. Oh wow, Kunta Kinte, you are angry on the other side. He one of them strong. He remind me of ex-boyfriend now. One of them strong niggas that ain't never cried. I'm telling you, man, if you don't cry, whether you're living or in the afterlife, because Kunta still ain't cry. He's still that strong, fine ass nigga on the other side. Because I keep feeling he fine. I see it. What Spirit is saying is, if he don't cry, he's like, everything that Kunta was in the movie, this is his energy for real. Like angry, mad, pissed. Spirit is saying to Kunta Kinte, if he doesn't get that cry out, this is what they're telling him right now in the afterworld. If he doesn't cry and release it, he's not going to heal in this life. I mean, in the afterworld. He's not going to heal. So I don't see that he's been reincarnated, to be honest, you guys. He hasn't been reincarnated since. He hasn't been reincarnated. Yeah. All right, Kunta. I'm going to pull 3 of my psychic tarot cards with it, and then I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to go with part 2 later on. I don't know if I'm going to do it today or when I come from my class. It's about to be 12 because I got to take a quick drive. My phone is acting stupid, so I got to go fix my phone, y'all. It doesn't work. I might do part 2 when I come from my class. I got homework to do. All right, 3 cards, Kunta. Kunta. Look at you, Kunta. Look. Let that shit go. Forgive. Take your power back. Oh, he was a warrior. Kunta Kinte was a warrior. A warrior that was broken. And he's bitter over it. He hasn't letting it go. He's ashamed. He feels guilt. He's mad. He don't understand the point of it. I mean, he's to the point where he don't even care about... Like, he almost don't care about the fucking story Alex Haley even put out. Like... yeah. The 4 swords keeps coming out in reverse. He's still in that energy like... Kunta Kinte, you're giving away your power because he's still in that energy like, all this over a fucking drum. He said, I got a little bored meditating like I always do. I wanted to get out and I went through this over a drum. The magician's in reverse. Kunta Kinte, you're not bringing healing energy through you in the afterlife because you're still holding on to a grudge and you're angry. And you're not letting yourself, you're not releasing a cry. And if you don't release this cry, Kunta Kinte, you're not going to be able to manifest healing and to let this go and to forgive. You know, and I know it's easier said than done because I haven't went through that. So I understand, Kunta Kinte. I do. He's mad. He's mad. Like, look, this is him in the forest getting the drum. This is the white guy coming and taking authority. This is him losing all his material harvest. Kunta Kinte is stuck in the afterlife mad. Like, what was the point of this shit? That is what he's saying. So look, y'all, I'm going to end it here and then I'm going to do part 2. And yeah. See y'all in the next read, okay? Have a good day.